Hey y'all! So today I'm going to be doing a discussion on my opinions on rereading books. And I actually got this idea from the Tuesday Talks topics, and so I will leave a link down in the description to the Goodreads group for Tuesday Talks. I actually just recently discovered that the series existed, and I haven't made a Tuesday Talks video before, but some of their topics seem really interesting, and so I'm thinking I might want to start making some Tuesday Talks videos. So like I said, what I will be talking about today is rereading books. This seems to be a really polarizing topic. Either people really dislike or just don't reread books, or people really love to reread books and reread books all the time. And right off the bat, full disclosure, I am a serial rereader. And it's not just with reading. I do this with literally any medium of entertainment. Books, movies, TV shows, YouTube videos. If I really love it, you can bet that I have watched it or read it several times. Project Runway, I've seen every single season multiple times. Top Chef, same thing. The Office, again, same thing. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, my favorite movie of all time, I have seen at least 50 times. Not kidding. Same with Princess Bride and with Clue. I have watched those movies so many times that I could basically sit there and quote the entire script to you. And I've always been this way, again, with all mediums. When I was younger and my parents would take me to Blockbuster, I would rent like the same 4 movies over and over again. I would get The Little Vampire, this movie about a puppy named Napoleon. I think it was just called Napoleon. There was a horse movie, I can't remember the name of it, but literally the same few movies over and over and over. And my parents got so fed up with it that they literally banned me from renting those movies because they were sick of watching them. There was one summer where I watched the Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap movie every single day. This is not an exaggeration. And I simply cannot understand people who watch or read things one time and then, even if they really love it, never want to return to it. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this method of taking in entertainment. I mean, to each their own, but it simply just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't understand how anyone can do that. When I really love something, I want to return to it as many times as possible. It's like with the Harry Potter books. The least I've read one of the books is probably like 3 times, with the 2 middle books that are extremely long. But I mean, I've read book 6 probably at least 20 times. Like, I have read that series so many times, and I am so familiar with it now. Not to toot my own horn here, but I have never lost an argument as far as Harry Potter knowledge. I've just read the series so many times that I'm familiar with just like the most minute details that many people don't even think about. This, I feel, is the biggest reward for rereading, is that you become so incredibly familiar with the book or series that you become almost an expert on it. And I've heard people say that they don't like rereading because they find it boring and predictable, but I simply just cannot understand this. Because for me, I love Harry Potter so much that even though I know exactly what's going to happen, I'm just so invested in these characters that I love so much that I don't care that I know what's about to happen. I want to re-experience it because I love it that much. So clearly, something in my brain is wired to need to re-experience things and to reread books and to re-watch movies. So yeah, I will forever argue that rereading books is a wonderful and beneficial experience. So because I was part of the Tuesday Talks topic, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the books that I most prefer to reread, or the books that I have reread the most. The most obvious of these is clearly Harry Potter, which I have read many times. I've read the first 3 books probably in the neighborhood of 6 times. I've read the 4th and 5th book, like I said, 3 or 4 times. I've read the 6th book, like I said, like 20 times. It's been my favorite for a very long time, so I've just reread that one a lot. And I've probably read the 7th one maybe 9 or 10 times. Yeah, the 6th and 7th ones are my favorite, so I've reread those a lot. All-American Girl by Meg Cabot is another one that I've reread many times, although it's been a few years since I've reread it. I actually used to read this one a lot when I was younger, and I mean, I could honestly just tell you the entire plot of the book now, even though it's probably been 5 years since I've read it. I mean, I've read this book at least 20 times. Like, I read it so many times as a preteen. I mean, just look at this poor book. It's taped together. It's got so many cracks in the spine. Like, I bought this brand new, like, when it came out. And the poor thing is just a mess now. And then, as if I haven't bashed you over the head with this book enough, And Then There Were None is another book that I have reread so many times. Favorite standalone, as I've said many times. I've read it 15, 20 times. I can't even count at this point. It's a lot. Another one that I've reread many, many times is 13 Reasons Why by J. Asher, and I'm actually hoping to reread this one sometime soon because it's been quite a while since I've read it. It's been maybe like 2 years, so it's due for a reread. And I'm going to briefly discuss some books that I have not yet reread, but that I actually really want to reread soon. The first, which is kind of a cop-out because I'm in the middle of rereading it, is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I basically wanted to reread this immediately after finishing it, but I'm currently in the middle of rereading it so that I can go straight into the sequel. But yeah, this was one that I really wanted to reread. The Across the Universe trilogy by Beth Revis is another one that I really want to reread for the sole purpose that it has quickly become one of my favorite trilogies, and I haven't reread it yet. I mean, I only read it a year ago, so it makes sense that I have not yet reread it, but I do want to reread it sometime in the near future. I also really want to reread Unsaid Things, Our Story by McFly, which is the autobiography by my favorite band. I read it for the first time in my freshman year of college, and I really want to reread it just because I want to re-experience the formation of the band and their story over the years since the band was formed, because I love them. And then the number one book that I have not yet reread that I really, really, really want to reread is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Like, this book was so amazing, and it put me into such a reading slump after I read it because I wanted to read something exactly like it, and there was nothing exactly like it. Basically, I just wanted to read this book again immediately after finishing it, and I still want to reread this book several months later. So I will probably be rereading this book sometime this year. Like, I have a challenge in my TBR jar challenge jar that says reread a book this month, and like, that'll probably be this book. Whenever that challenge comes up, that'll probably be this book. Or 13 Reasons Why, because I've been wanting to reread that one. Or maybe I'll just reread both, because I love them both. But yeah, like, I am dying to reread this book, but I have so many other books that I need to get to first. So yeah, that is all that I had today for my discussion on rereading books. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about reading books. Are you like me and you are a serial rereader, or do you prefer not to reread books at all? Let me know. It might also help me kind of understand where y'all are coming from if you don't like rereading books, because I literally just don't understand it. As always, I will leave links down in the description to my blog and my Twitter and my Goodreads. Please add me as a friend on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!